Our next movie is named Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, and wherever this film has been shown, it has shocked some people and impressed others. Even though it's been refused an R rating by the ratings board, it refuses to disappear. It's been around for 4 years. It couldn't be released originally because it couldn't get the R rating, but after playing at unrated midnight shows in Chicago and New York, it surfaced last fall at several film festivals and was taken so seriously by the critics that now it's going into limited national release, even despite the MPAA rating controversy. The film stars Michael Rooker in a performance of absolutely riveting brilliance as a flat-voiced, unemotional mass murderer who talks about his deeds almost in the abstract.
Open your eyes, Otis. Look at the world. It's either you or them. You know what I mean.
Otis is played there by Tom Tolles, whose little sister comes to visit. She's impressed by Henry's unemotional truth-telling.
I feel like I've known you forever and ever.
Yeah. I killed my mama.
The sister is played by Tracy Arnold. The strange thing about scenes like this is how impending violence seems to suggest itself beneath the surface of an apparently casual conversation.
Were you really a dancer?
I danced some in a club, and I wasn't naked. I wore a costume, but I guess it wasn't very much.
When you gonna dance for us?
Many of the scenes in this movie are really hard to take, including one where they videotape one of their home invasions. There is no doubt in my mind that Henry is a powerful and important film, brilliantly directed and acted. But why should there be a film like this, a dispassionate record of a mass murderer? Well, because there are people like this, and one of the purposes of serious films is to help us see and understand the world we live in. It's an irony that mad slasher movies like the Friday the 13th series routinely get an R rating from the MPAA and play to millions of teenagers, anyone who can find that legendary 18-year-old adult guardian to go in with them. But let an artistic film come along that really sincerely considers the subject, and it's banished by the MPAA to that ghetto between the R and the X, so that most theater chains are afraid or legally prevented from booking it. This film deserves to be seen. And you know, this must be the only civilized country on earth that doesn't believe there's such a thing as an adults-only movie, a movie that is unsuitable for people under 17. We have the R, which is a joke, very loosely enforced, and then everything else is allegedly hardcore pornography. There's nothing in between. And do you know why they won't pass an A rating? I'll tell you why. It's because the A rating would have to be enforced, and they would have to look at somebody holding money at the ticket counter and say, no, we won't take your money. And the MPAA and the theater owners are too gutless to do that, and so what we have are pictures like this being punished as a result.
Well, I think you're right to include the theater owners because they're the ones that would have to do the enforcing. They don't want to get near it. Also, the media, newspapers and radio stations and television stations have policies that they won't play or advertise X-rated films, so it's really the whole network here.
Or
it's
even
not just
unrated films. You take a paper like the Los Angeles Times, one of the great papers in our country. Its own critics have said that a movie like Henry and a movie like The Cook, The Thief, and so forth are great films, but will they allow them to be advertised if they were rated X? No.
There's a sequence when Otis kicks in a television set. And when I saw him kicking in and destroying the television set, I realized that, at least my opinion was, that the director was showing that is the way they have just finished destroying somebody in a car, a couple of women in a car, I think, and they kick in the television set with the same reaction. These people, therefore, view women, people, as inanimate objects, as stuff that, if you don't like it, you kick it in. That's the mental breakdown that has occurred in these heads. And so, by using movie imagery, the film deals with tough material. Listen, I didn't like looking at some of the murders there.
No.
I wouldn't have made the film that way, but I appreciate that I think somebody's trying to do something serious rather than totally a joyride exploitation.
It's an unforgettable portrait of a sociopath.